Hey, loungers. I hope everybody is doing as great as I am this morning. Shout out to y'all. It's been a few days since I've been able to get on here and really talk to y'all and bust it up with y'all a little bit and give y'all my commentary on this situation going on with Larry Reid and Tasha K, Levontre Andrews, and all of the receipts that have now come out. Okay. So I just want to give my commentary on this, despite some of what some of his supporters have been talking about. But I'm going to get into all of that this morning. Okay. I'm also going to talk a little bit about Quavo and Offset and this situation going on with him and Jay Prince and Cardi B and all this other stuff. I really don't think there's a lot to see over there, but I definitely wanted to touch bases on that. And of course, we're going to go ahead and have our mindfulness moments as well. But shout out to y'all that are in the building. I appreciate y'all. You said good afternoon, living life. Over here, it is morning, but I appreciate you. And you said listening in. And shout out to you for being in Eyes Nation. I appreciate you. You said, come on, T-Pre, let's get the morning started. I appreciate everybody for being in the building today. Make sure that you guys do hit the like button on the way in so that we can get into this hot tea, because there is a lot going on in the world. Okay. But first, we're going to go ahead and get into our mindfulness moment. Okay. So let's go ahead and start with that, guys. And then, of course, we're going to talk about Quavo. And then we're going to get into this Larry Reid situation going on, because there seems to be a lot happening with Larry Reid and a lot going on with that situation. There's a lot of commentary going around, and there is a lot of people with opinions out here. And we're going to go ahead and get into some of these opinions and get into some of this conversation. But first, let's have our mindfulness moment, okay? So what we're going to talk about today is 5 ways to boost your mindset, okay? Because it's actually really important to have a clear mindset in order to gain success and in order to remain successful, okay? So we're going to talk about 5 ways to do this, and we're going to go over those things now. So the first one we're going to talk about is learning lessons from your mistakes, okay? Now, anyone who has achieved success can rattle off a list of failures that they've encountered along the way. So, I've been there. We've all been there with these types of things. But we always want to learn a lesson from everything that we have experienced, okay? Even if you've experienced any type of failure, you don't want to beat yourself up. You want to brush yourself off, analyze what actually happened, and then determine how you can do things differently in the future and move on. You don't want to stay in the same place and just keep kind of wallowing in the same space. And you certainly don't want like energy vampires that will keep you in that space as well. Okay. So that is what will determine your ability to be successful. It's not all your wins, but how you actually handle your losses. Okay. And that is something that I used to teach with my employees. So I would tell them things like, go for the no's. Okay. You like in sales, when I would talk about certain things in sales, I would tell them to go for the no. Okay. How many no's did you get today? Like you want to go for those times because you can win by analyzing those times and figuring out what went wrong or what went well, and then putting that together and then creating a successful path from that. So that's really something that you want to think of when you're talking about success and having a mindset of success. Okay. The second one, and again, guys, I'm reading this from Forbes, okay, from Forbes Leadership Careers. And this is written by Ashley Stahl. So you guys can check that out. And I will put a link to it in my description box. The second one is a number two, which is to set small goals as stepping stones to your success. Okay. So sometimes when we get caught up in our daily grind, like we often get focused on not having reached the end goal of that success. So you want to take time to set small, frequent goals and reward yourself in some kind of way after you achieve those goals. Okay. The best way or a good way to actually do this, which I've done and I do this often, is to write out this big lofty ass goal, right? You want to put something up like in the beginning of the year. I want to purchase a boat, okay, or something like that, anything that it would be. But you would put like a huge lofty goal up. And then under that goal, you want to list a whole bunch of mini goals or tiny goals, okay, that you know you can achieve pretty quickly or pretty soon. And you need to hit those in order to make the large goal actually happen. So you want to put dates next to those small goals and focus on each step by setting aside non-negotiable, realistic blocks of time. Okay. And then you want to work on those as you're doing that and make sure that you're sticking to that. So those are things that you can do also and that will help you create a mindset of success. Number three, you want to be flexible. Okay. So not everything is going to go according to the way that you planned it. You've got to know that and you got to understand that we're human beings, things happen. Okay. And you want to maintain a level of emotional fitness with that. Okay. You want to understand that, hey, everything is not going to work out as planned. You can't just lose it every time that happens. Now, you're not always going to achieve every single goal on time or even at all. There may be times where you really don't achieve them, but you want to be going after those goals, right? You want to be taking the steps to actually do it. But it just might not work out like that. Life actually happens, okay? And that is okay. So you want to be open to making adjustments to these things as these things arise. And if you find yourself in a bind, you go ahead and consult with a colleague or somebody that you know who has like a different perspective on this. Maybe they can offer something else to help you with this or something that you hadn't been able to see. So being able to adapt in life and to kind of roll with punches is very crucial on that path to success. Okay. Number four, you want to be inspired. You always want to take the time every day, even if it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes, to just simply expose yourself to something that inspires you. Okay. So if it's something like reading, if it's something like writing, if it's something as simple as standing out in the sunshine, right? This is something that you need to find time to do every day. Watching a motivational video, writing a thank you note to somebody, anything like that would be something that inspires you. And you got to remember that you are choosing to do that, right? That is something that's a choice every day. It's a choice to be inspired. It's not something that is gonna happen because you just wish for it, right? Like literally, you have to choose it. So you want to make this a priority and maintain your momentum with that. Okay. So you want to come up with, and this is just a little recommendation for this, you want to come up with a list of activities that get you inspired. Okay. So, like, say, for instance, you like painting, say, for instance, you like drawing. If those are things that get you inspired, write those things down. Okay. And then make sure that you're actually trying to achieve some of those things every single day. Okay. No matter what it is, it doesn't have to be hard. So it could be something very simple as um, taking your lunch break outside and sitting in the sun, right? And taking that time. You're not only getting your lunch, but you're also getting that sun time. If that is what inspires you, do it, right? If reading a book inspires you, then do that. Okay. And those are just some thoughts on that. And the final thing we're going to talk about is engaging in positive self talk. Okay. So sometimes we can find ourselves to be our worst enemies. Like, it's very important for how conscious we are in the words that we are speaking out, not only to people around us, but also to ourselves. Okay. So we want to make sure that we are constantly speaking positivity to ourselves. There's multiple apps that you can find on your phone or in various places that you can just pull up and just read positive affirmations. Okay. You can post them to your mirror, whatever inspires you to continue in that positive self image and that positive self talk is what you need to do. So you want to be the one that encourages yourself because your results in the world all start with how you think, literally, and they all end with how you think, literally, if you believe that. So you want to be the one to that is complimenting yourself, encouraging yourself, rewarding yourself, okay? But also making sure that you stay realistic and you also stay grounded. And it is helpful to stay focused on your journey and realistic about what you really can achieve and how soon you can achieve it. So don't put stuff, in your way that is too far out for you really to achieve. Be realistic with yourself and be honest with yourself, but encourage yourself at the same time. And that is my thoughts today on our mindful thoughts, okay? And our mindfulness moment. So let's go ahead and get into what was going on with Quavo and with Offset and with Cardi B and all this whole thing with Jay Prince. Now, I really don't have a whole lot to say because I'll be honest with you. I think there's a lot of stories just running around and people really don't know what's going on, right? There's a whole lot of he said, she said. We know that, apparently and clearly there is some bad blood going on between all of them. But here's the problem that I'm taking with the situation. And this is my angle with this, right? My issue is family is just family. Okay. And sometimes, yes, we know that blood is not always thicker than water, right? Sometimes there really are issues amongst family members, especially after such a tragic incident like this that happened to take off. But I don't think everything is for the public, right? I definitely think there are some things that just really need to be left behind the scenes and not put out in the public. Now, apparently, the fight between Offset and Quavo started over Offset. Well, for the public eye, anyway. Apparently, it started because apparently Quavo and Offset were set to do some type of tribute to Takeoff, and Quavo kind of blocked Offset allegedly from coming on to this set in order to help out with this tribute. Okay, so that is how the fight got started. That is how allegedly they got to arguing. You can hear Cardi B on video actually yelling and screaming at the two of them and kind of getting in between them and stopping this whole debacle from going on. Offset then takes to social media and says he would never fight his brother, and just kind of goes like that. So ultimately, from what I understand, nobody really knows if there was actually like all out ball beef hitting each other fight. That video has not surfaced. But there is a video of Cardi kind of yelling at the two, and and clearly there was some kind of bad blood that happened. What I think is going on is I think just the tensions of everything that has happened, and the death of Takeoff is causing this bad blood. I think the bad blood was already there between them before he died. Okay. How Offset was kind of going his own way, and the Migos were, they had broken up. Everybody knows about that. These are, so clearly there was some family issues already. And I think the death of Takeoff is really exacerbating this issue. And I really think the people need to stay out of it. I think as people are talking and as bloggers are talking and as blogs are going in and talking about this situation, I really don't think it's making it any better. I think it's really hurtful to see this because unfortunately, when people die, and they die so young, they leave such a void in the family. And everybody just is kind of left to just fight amongst each other. And they end up losing really precious relationships over money and over deaths and over really painful things that really should be bringing families together at that moment, right? So I'm not going to blame Cardi because there's people out here blaming Cardi B. There's people out here saying, she's always been the problem. And, there's all kinds of stuff being said out here. And I can't say what's true and what's not. All I can say is that Takeoff is gone. And there's a family here that is clearly grieving and hurting over the pain and the loss of their member and their family member. And I think that if any of us were experiencing anything like this, we would not want the world to be talking about it. We wouldn't want the world to be just opening this up and just constantly throwing this in our face every single day. At some point, we would just want to heal. And I get it. Everybody's saying, well, they shouldn't be watching, right? Like they shouldn't be paying attention, and people are still going to keep talking anyway, right? Yeah, I get it. But at what cost do we keep doing that? Because the man is dead. The man is not coming back. And their family needs time to get over, or they'll never get over it, but they need time to get through this, right? Without all these extra stories and all this extra added stuff. So for people like Jay Prince and them, who's much older than me, I know he a gangster and all that. I'm cool with all that. I'm cool on all that. But yeah, listen, first of all, gangsters move in silence. So there's a lot of stuff with him that I think he should just be quiet about. I think there's some things, that even though he is who he is, I think it's just at some point with the age that he is, he doesn't necessarily need to prove that to anyone at this age, right? He doesn't need to prove his status as gangster, his status as that nigga to anybody at this point. You know what I mean? At this age, sir. So, I think he just needs to have several seats with this situation. And if you do have this respect for Takeoff, like you're saying, then you would just be quiet, right? Or you would just go and say what you need to say behind the scenes to these people and just let these young boys say whatever they want to say. And you just move in silence, because that's probably the best thing when it comes to Jay Prince. Other than that, he's making himself look kind of bad right now. And I'm just saying. And that's my opinion on that situation. I really think that people need to mind their business when it comes to this situation with Quavo and with Offset. I get it. It was front and center for everybody to kind of look at and see. But yeah, I think there's, I think that this is a very tough situation. It's pretty difficult situation going on. And I think that people are just not noticing that. I think they're not paying attention to that part of it. So rest in peace to Takeoff, and may the prayers go up for the family, and everybody finds peace in this situation at some point. I'm going to go ahead and play a quick timer for you guys, and we're going to go ahead and get right into my Larry Reid commentary. I don't have much on it, but again, I do have some commentary on it because I think that there is a lot going on. And there's a lot of just comments from people who think that, it's just so important to kind of give their thoughts on this. And they have that, and they're entitled to that. But I'm going to give my thoughts as well. But let me, what's up, West Bank? I appreciate you being in the bill. You said Offset was accused of clapping Sweetie's cheeks. So I did hear about that too. But again, like I said, I don't know what's true, what's not, because I don't know, right? I don't know whether these stories are true or not. There's so many different stories going around. But I don't know if that's really the facts. You know what I'm saying? All I know is that it's a very painful situation that they're going through with the death of their family. And I think that all of us just kind of need to stay out of it and just let them sort this out. And eventually at some point, they'll get it sorted out. You know what I'm saying? They'll know what's up. And people like Jay Prince, like I said, he too old to be having these types of internet beefs and carrying on and be calling himself gangster. Like the way these niggas be moving these days, and they call themselves a G. I don't get it, but okay. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into this quick timer real quick. It's going to be very fast, guys. And then we're going to get right into my commentary on what's going on with Larry Reid. All right, guys. And I appreciate all of you for being in the building. All right, guys. So yes, West Bank, I did know about the Sweetie Hole situation. But again, like I said, there's so much painful tension that is going on between the family. Like there's so many other parts to this story, so many moving parts to this. Even prior to Takeoff's death, that I just don't want to touch on it. You know what I mean? Like until there's some actual facts that come out. Because one of the things that I try to do around here is speak facts. Okay. I definitely don't want to just add a bunch of stuff. Now, if I am giving you my opinion, I will make that clear as well. Okay. But I want to always try to speak facts. Okay. So when we're talking out here, I don't like to talk about things that they may have alluded to or things that it may seem like or something. I just speak on what has been presented, right? So it can't be just your word against theirs. It has to kind of be something that has been presented, which actually leads right into what I want to talk about regarding Larry Reid. Okay. Now, shout out to everybody who has been talking about this on both sides of the coin. There have been multiple content creators from Tasha K. Of course, everybody knows that Tasha K has had Levontre Andrews on the show, who is accusing Larry Reid. He is one of three accusers who has accusing Larry Reid of inappropriate behavior and predatory behavior in the past. Okay. So one of those people is Levontre Andrews. He has been on multiple platforms, okay, from Tasha K's platform, which I have watched every single receipt at this point. He has also been on the official campaign. He has been on All About the Trees. And there has been some other bloggers that he has been in touch with as well, such as Sean Davy Way and some others. Okay. I have watched him in multiple spaces, and I have listened to him over on multiple occasions. I have paid for the app, and I have listened to the actual full receipts. Okay, not just the receipts that have been placed on YouTube. There's a lot of things that are on YouTube that are kind of suppressed because of the nature of everything that has been talked about in those receipts. Okay. So I've listened in full to all of these receipts. I've also listened to everything on Larry Reid's side. Shout out to them. Shout out to Conscious TV. Like I said, I'm putting everybody out here on both sides of the coin. There's Knockout Media that's been talking about this, other content creators who have been kind of just talking about this on a regular basis. Okay. So for everybody who has talked about this, there is everybody seems to have a side. Okay. And I have a side as well. And that side is the truth. And that side is the facts. Okay. I'm not going to go by my emotions. I'm not going to go by who I like. I'm not going to go by who I want to like. I'm not going to go by what I want to believe or what I want to see. I'm going to go by the facts. Okay. And the facts are there are a lot of things that Larry Reid himself has, in fact, corroborated when it comes to what Levantre has said. Okay. I also know that when there is smoke, there is fire. Okay. So I also know the law. All right. And I'm going to say that too. Now, we've already gotten into the whole thing in regards to the statute of limitations. We've gotten into the argument in regards to whether or not the age of consent and what that means and how many years out that goes for a 16 and 17-year-old and so forth. Okay. We've already gotten into all of those facts. We've also gotten into the fact that Larry Reid was 28 at the time. We've already gotten into the fact that Larry Reid actually corroborates that the young brother was living in his home. He corroborates that he has been alone with him. We already know that Larry Reid has corroborated giving him money. We've corroborated a lot of things between what Larry has said and what Levantre has said. The biggest thing that I think that got me out of this was the receipts. Okay. Now, it wasn't an actual like boom, 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 smoking gun, like shoot you down type of situation. Meaning, like, yes, he has actually physically said, like Larry physically said, oh, yes, I M-worded you. I did not see that. I didn't see Larry say that. Okay. But I also did not see Larry deny that. Now, why I say that is because in the receipts, and I cannot show them because, again, this is copywritten material. I am not going to show the receipts myself, but I will direct you to where they are. Okay. In the receipts, which are not being shown on one side of this coin, but is being shown on the other side of this coin, is the fact that Levantre actually physically says the words M-word to me. You M-worded me, and I allowed this to happen for years. And it seemed, I allowed you to get away with this for years. After that came out of Levantre, after that was typed in text from Levantre to Larry, Larry then proceeds to go on, and instead of him saying, what the hell are you talking about? What do you mean? What? I didn't do anything of such nature. I would never do anything like that. I'm blocking you. I'm not fool. Don't ever contact me again with this nonsense. How dare you say something like nothing like that came from Larry, which is what I would expect from someone who's saying they did not do something. Okay. I would expect, especially something so serious like that, I would expect you to say something along those lines to this person in order to make it clear to them, what are you talking about? I would never do anything like that. Why are you saying I molested you? I would expect him to say that. Instead, according to the evidence presented, the response was apology after apology after apology, and wanting to correct and clear up the matter. That was the response. So after seeing that response as the receipt, it is very difficult for me to believe anything else. Because again, why would you not respond with, I never did this? I wouldn't do anything like this. How could you say something like that? Or something along the lines of that. So I'm not sure if the supporters of Larry have actually watched the receipts. We know one supporter didn't. We know Breaking the Culture says she ain't never watching the receipts. She's not watching that shit. We already know she's not doing that. But out of everybody else that's supporting Larry, which aren't many people, right? If those people actually watched the real receipt, the actual receipts that were dropped, because those receipts lead right into the conversation that Larry presented to Conscious to present to the public. Okay? Which, again, I'm not blaming Conscious because this is what Conscious has seen, right? But there's more. Because if you look at the more, which I knew it had to be more, if you look at the more, the conversation of the apologies were left out. That's left out of what was being presented on that side of the coin, on Conscious and the supporter side. So that is the part, like, I can't deny what I've seen. So if somebody can present evidence that what I have seen is incorrect, or what I have seen is a lie from Larry, because Larry is the one that is on this thread from his phone, according to him. So if this is Larry on this thread, then what am I left to believe? But what is on this thread and what Larry has himself said on this thread. So I would need them to present proof that that's not from Larry, from that date, which was in 2017. So I'm not really sure, how Larry gets to, and I'll say this, you could sue whoever you want to sue, sir. Like, you are welcome to sue your dogs. You can sue your cats. You can sue your bird if you wanted to. If your bird has a name, you can take and put your bird's name on the lawsuit and sue your bird. That doesn't mean, you're going to win that lawsuit. If you want to waste money, sir, like right now, you might want to have, think about putting this money into something else. Because if you want to waste money suing people over facts, I mean, that's on you. People don't even need an attorney for this. Really? I'm just being honest. Because as long as they're not actually defaming your name and defaming your character, if they're not, performing some type of defamation against you with slander or with libel, I'm not sure what case you have. Because facts are just facts. Would you want everybody to go to court and present your text messages? Because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about your text messages, Larry. We're not talking about anybody else's messages. We're not talking about any other situation. This is the evidence that can be presented to the courts, is your own words, sir. So for people like, and I don't know, for people who are supporting Larry, I get it. I think y'all want to see him win, right? I really do. I think this is painful to watch. I get it. I really do. But you're not helping him, because he is welcome to sue whoever he wants to sue. He can sue whoever he wants to sue. But how many people is he going to waste money suing who can come to court and present his own words? I could see if it was a situation where we were like, it was a he said, she said situation where Levantre saying it and Larry saying, and then Levantre saying, and then Larry saying, and there's no evidence of an actual conversation of this actual situation. But there is a conversation between the two of them that is forever embedded in the world. Okay? Forever embedded in these text messages. And that is the evidence that any blogger, as long as you are remaining within the confines of not putting lies, slander, defamation of any kind into the story, that is the evidence that can be presented. Because the beauty of this space that we're in is we are entitled to speak our speech on situations, as long as, again, we are not doing it in a way that is defaming the person we are speaking of, that we are committing libel against them or slander. I can't slander you if these are your words. They're not mine. They're yours. They're Larry's. So some of y'all might want, I get it. I get all the all the energy and wanting to see your friend win. I get that. But y'all might want to sit down. Because everybody doesn't really care about him taking people to court. That's facts. Everybody doesn't care about that. Because this is what we do here on YouTube. We talk about news. And Larry Reid is news. He has made every church goer, every pastor, every minister, every church news for years. This is what Larry does. He gossips about the church. And now the church is gossiping about him. But the gossip is facts. Facts. They're not even rumors anymore. They were rumors. They're no longer rumors. So yes, it's fortunate that the universe has now opened up the door for bloggers and people to openly talk about this without the fear of being sued and being put in the corner, like unfortunately was attempted to be done to Daryl Moore. And everyone send prayers up for Daryl Moore's mother, as he did lose his mother just a few days ago. And may God rest her soul. But I hope that Daryl and his family finds peace and protection. And no one is going to walk around in fear of discussing such demonic and evil things. No one is. It doesn't matter what dark energy is put out. See, I keep telling folks, when you try to put energy out, negative energy, right, and divination, you got to be very careful in doing that. You got to have a reason to be doing so. Because if you don't have a good reason, not what you think is because it's your friend. No. It's got to be a good reason. Because if it doesn't, it returns. And it returns 10 times over, tenfold, until you clean it. So if you don't have good reason to be going dark on folks, you don't want to do that. You don't. Because it won't be good for you. That's just a little divination 101 for those who are talking about that. But as for this situation with Larry, like I said, where there's smoke, there's fire. And if Larry can confirm a lot of this stuff that Levantre is confirming, why shouldn't I confirm it? And if the receipts are showing that Larry is apologetic for this behavior, instead of questioning why this person is even saying this, that is on Larry. That's not on me. That's not on dark witches. That's not on any of that shit. That is on Larry. And Larry has the universe to answer for that. So whatever happens in the universe concerning Larry, we don't have nothing to do with that. And for anybody trying to stand in the way of that, that energy can come to you. That's all I got to say about this situation for now. I'm sure at some point there will be some more stuff that'll be talked about because there's a lot more going on. It's a lot more to say and a lot more that's happening. It's a lot of alleged more receipts, according to Levantre and some others. So I don't know, Larry, if you want to get your boots up and you want to pull your bootstraps up and get out here in the mud and start slinging court mud at everybody, that's your business. That is your business. And if your friends want to try to swing fear allegations of alleged court proceedings at everybody, that's their business too. But that's not stopping Mother Earth from speaking her speech and telling the earth what's going on. And that's just that. And that's all I got to say. So anyway, guys, I really do appreciate all of you for coming in and listening to me. Make sure that you guys do hit that like button on your way out. And again, guys, I will talk to you guys later. Again, I always appreciate y'all for coming in and checking out the morning opinion. Talk to you guys later, guys, and peace, guys. Thank you guys again for watching.